Hello and welcome to Wednesday Debate Live with Tagreed Hussein here on Night TV International. Well, tonight we'll be talking sustainability and development and Egypt's future outlook. As we all know, that evidence shows that a country's most valuable asset is definitely its people, the human resources. That's why His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is always directing the government to invest in the people and in the human capital. Studies demonstrate that healthy, skilled and educated citizens are always more productive. They are also innovative and they also have a higher contribution to the development of the country. That's why the state today spares no effort in order to invest in the people, along with facing a great challenge of providing job opportunities. However, it is very important for Egypt to achieve economic growth to invest in the human capital, and that is our topic for tonight, investing in the human capital, because the human capital are very important in vis-a-vis the national projects of the country throughout the last years to allow our resilient economy to grow, to establish the national projects, to encourage the national industry to further attract foreign investment to the country. All that requires investing in the people and in the human capital. Tonight, along with our distinctive guest, Mr. Ahmed Khattab, who is development and consultancy expert, we are going together to talk about reaping the fruit of investing in the people and in the human capital, how to mobilize the human resources today, how to invest in the Egyptian citizen, the relation between the human capital and economic growth, and more. Mr. Ahmed Khattab, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, dear. And together we'll be reading this important headline, investing in the human capital as a top priority for Egypt. As I said, Mr. Khattab, like human development is considered to be the core of sustainability. If we need to achieve sustainability, we need to invest in the people. Yeah. And that's how His Excellency the President has been directing the government to focus on in the past years.
Yeah, first of all, let me present by the name of all Egyptian special youth, special thanks to our President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for the supporting of Egyptian youth and supporting for the education sector, especially in Egypt. Education sector take a great budget from the Egyptian budget in order to most upgraded in the future to be matching with the international level of education, even it's primary or secondary or also high education and this scientific research in university. So a lot of money is spent last 4 or 6 years, especially in the field of education and field of training. Field of education in governmental school and also in the private school and in the governmental university and the private university. Yeah. I'm here to speak about all the support, even it's support from the government or support from the private sector or support from the international association with international cooperation and deals between Egypt and a lot of modern country like Canada, like America, like Germany, like France. A lot of international universities and international schools launched and established in the new capital administration city with the cooperation and under the control of the Egyptian government. All this is spent and all the money spent in education, and all the support from our President Sisi, especially in the national training for training youth, national academy. Also, this leads the new generation of the Egyptian citizens graduate by more experience, more language, more training, and ready to work local in the Egyptian market or overseas in the international market. If we look to the Egyptian work abroad, transfer to Egypt from foreign currency like dollars and euro, it's reached about 30 billion US dollars. So it's a great amount and supports the Egyptian economy, especially under the international challenge face all the world related to the Russian and Ukrainian crisis and COVID-19 crisis. Yeah. So once we spend in training and educating and learning Egyptian youth, we will be able to compete in all different sectors. In the same side, investment in human capital is very effective also to the Egyptian citizens and to international community. Why international community? Because the international community, like Germany, for example, needs a lot of qualified youth from Egypt to work in Germany, and especially we have a protocol related to this. So such if we graduate qualified student, and qualified student will be working in Germany, he will work in a very perfect and accurate way. Because why? Because he matching with the international requirement of Germany.
It's very important indeed, Mr. Ahmed, that the preparation of the youth today in order to be efficient for the labor market is very important. Also promoting this sense of competitiveness. The governments are taking notice and developing plans today in order to prioritize the investment in the people. And this is including investments to promoting more than one sector, as Mr. Khattab has mentioned, promoting the knowledge sector, the educational sector, the skills and the resilience of the citizens. So investing in the human capital is definitely a priority for Egypt. We'll be talking more about investment in the human capital as a top priority right after this, watching this report. Let's watch together.
Investment in developing human capital is one of the top priorities for Egypt under the directives of the political leadership, who encourages promoting the living standards of citizens through launching a galaxy of projects and initiatives in the various vital sectors. In this regard, Egypt has realized a significant number of changes over the past decade, looking towards a policy for development that emphasizes its Vision 2030 strategy, which highlights the importance of investing in human development. Just as financial capital measures accumulated wealth, human capital development measures the accumulation of knowledge, skills, health, as well as economic growth. This has been made clear throughout the last years, as Egypt has worked hard to develop plans aiming at prioritizing investments to promote the Egyptians' health, skills, knowledge and resilience, which in total is referred to as the country's human capital. Sustainable development management as a foundation for Egypt's economic, social and environmental future is also one of the state's top priorities, along with the investment in human development to ensure long-term successes and improvement in the lives of the Egyptians. At the heart of the new republic's efforts comes the strategic objective of improving the quality of life for Egyptian citizens by intensifying investment in human capital, conducting serious reforms, and implementing major development projects and initiatives in order to provide a decent life for Egyptians, with the utmost importance given to empowering youth and women politically, economically, and socially within a more general and comprehensive framework. It's worth mentioning that over the past few years, Egypt has undergone a wave of state-led, demand-driven projects of informal settlements, upgrading, establishing new communities, rehabilitation of heritage areas, large public transit projects, infrastructure mega projects, digital transformation projects, and social welfare programs, all of which being guided by Egypt's Vision 2030, driven by the Sustainable Development Goals and aiming at Egypt's human capital development.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back and we're still talking the human capital, talking the human resources, which is very important, and definitely it is a great contribution to the country if we invest in the human resources, as we've seen in the beautiful promo and the song, Thank You is Not Enough for You, Mr. President, for all what you've been doing. We've seen also examples of the presidential support to the differently abled.
Yes.
And this is among Mr. Khattab, the priorities of the state also, to find this sense of inclusion, that we are all one and we're all working for achieving the targets that Egypt would be at the dunya. With Egypt would be better, that we would have a better tomorrow.
Yes.
So how do you see the importance of investing in the human capital of the differently abled people?
Yeah, it's a very important message from our President Abdel Fattah to disabled and to special need, and also to women empowerment, like we see in the promo.
Yeah.
Our President Sisi last week make a great event with a lot of special need, and I think all the attendees have very careful from our President of Sisi and how to communicate as a father or grandfather to all attendees, especially from students or from all the attendees from special need. And I think he promised he will support by all needs and support by money and support by governmental decision to merge this sector in the workforce in the future, and merge this sector also in the schools and the university, and a lot of governmental support will present. And also President Sisi in a lot of events sent a clear message to women empowerment, and we in Egypt we reach to the top, especially in women empowerment in People Assembly, women empowerment in the Senate, women empowerment with the minister, and also in the media, in national training girls.
In the decision-making posts all over the country.
Yes, and we have VIP module like Minister Hala Saeed, Minister of Planning in Sharm el-Sheikh. For example, he met the President of USA, and this is a clear message to USA. The woman in Egypt will be leader and will be a decision maker. So it's a great message from Sisi to the world, especially international world.
Yes, definitely. You've mentioned also, Mr. Khattab, in your point of view, according to a question, while how can we invest in the human capital, by mentioning training. And training is also very important. If we're talking vocational training, it's also very important.
Yeah.
How do you see the role of training today? And while we're talking human capital, we're talking investing in the people, so training them and bringing the best out of them and preparing them for the labor force is essential.
Training is very important and essential. Is coming at least 10 years especially.
Yes.
National training for training, yes, it's very effective. A lot of vocational training, especially schools work in the vocational training. We have a school today work in the gold, for example. We have a school work in the field of electricity. We have a school like the merge between Siemens as a multinational company with the Minister of Electricity, and a lot of more than 10,000 Egyptian employees will graduate from this academy and will work in the Minister of Electricity located in Egypt, and some will make travels to Arab countries like Saudi Arabia or like United Arab Emirates. So this accumulated experience and the training and the vocational training will lead the Egyptian employee to work locally in a very perfect way, and also have the chance to compete internationally, especially in the Arab country. We have a good agreement in the field of workforce, like Saudi Arabia and Arab Emirates and Kuwait. All this country know 100% the Egyptian employee will be add value to any company work, especially in many different fields, in field of electricity, field of liquid gas, in field of petroleum.
Yes.
And Egypt concentrate in this way. And once also we start the new administrative capital city and new Ahmed city, we need a lot of huge number from qualified employee. So all the graduate employee from this academy, like National Academy or any academy we launching and established in the last 3 years, will be add value, because all the graduate were located to a suitable job by very high salary. And let me send a special thanks to the Egyptian government, because the minimum wage of employee will be at least 2,700 Egyptian pounds, and will be more in the future. And this is a good governmental decision, support all the Egyptian citizens and send a clear message to the Egyptian citizen: you will take your right in work, and you take your right in working hour, and all the benefit and the health insurance will be obligated from your company, even it's a private sector or governmental sector.
Yes.
This protection will motivate the Egyptian youth to graduate from schools, even it's in the field of primary school or secondary school or also university, and you will catch a job, and you will be secured 100% from the government, and will secured also from the private sector, and a lot of local association will support you to be qualified.
Yes.
And in Egypt today you have the chance to learn more and more through the online education, and it's through the TV channel in work in field education. It's very effective also to Egyptian citizens, and they save a lot of money spent in the private courses. So education also with the cooperation with the international university located here in Egypt will be very add value to the Egyptian citizen. Why? Because you have the ability to learn with the international university from America, for example, located here in Egypt, from Germany, located in Egypt, Canada.
We have lots of course of international universities, and this helped that Egypt would become really a hub where we can see through this hub also the neighbors, Egyptian neighbors from the different countries come here also for education. As Mr. Khattab was talking about economic development and how it continues, it cannot continue without social inclusion, as we were talking, so to speak. It cannot continue without environmental sustainability, and this has been definitely on the agenda of COP27. And while we are reaping the fruit, the mega national projects in the country had definitely contributed a lot in order to make a difference in the lives of citizens here in Egypt. And it's in everywhere, not only in Cairo, the capital, but we can find also the Decent Life Initiative in more than one governorate, also in Upper Egypt. Mr. Khattab, those important mega development projects taking place all over the country, and the presidential initiatives like Takaful and Karama and Decent Life specifically, has managed to create a real difference in the lives of Egyptians.
Yeah, first of all, let me send a clear, a positive message about Decent Life. Why Decent Life? Because Decent Life covered Upper Egypt, covered Alex, covered Bahira, covered Sheikh, a lot of government covered by Decent Life especially, and a lot of initiative also from National Council of all non-governmental association.
Yeah.
And a lot of initiative in the health care also. So all this initiative lead to more progress to the Egyptian citizen and decent life to all the Egyptian citizens, not only in the key government, but in Upper Egypt and in all government located in Egypt.
Yes, definitely. Investment in the human capital yields a return, and it is done on more than one angle. If we're talking education, we're talking training, as mentioned here. We're talking also the field of healthcare, because if you're going to pay attention to the field of health, definitely this is investing in the people, investing in the people's health. Lots of presidential initiatives in that respect, like Decent Life, Takaful and Karama, Solidarity and Dignity, targeting developing the quality life for all Egyptians and a better future for Egyptians. As we know that the human resources is referring to people also as part of the workforce. What can we do more, Mr. Khattab, in order to prepare the young cadres, especially for the labor force? It's not only a matter of that they would be like grads of different universities, but they have to know more about competitiveness, for instance, about leading positions, especially at young age, in order to be able to compete in the market today. So how are we preparing the youth today in that respect?
Yeah, preparing youth need a lot of more training, summer training in the summer, in multinational company and the local company. It's a very add value to all the Egyptian youth to have the experience of study and experience of actual work. Training in industry sector, training in banking sector is very add value to the Egyptian youth, especially working in business and working in the commerce, faculty of commerce especially. Training in reconstruction field, it's very add value. Why? Because Egypt launching a lot of new cities like New Almin City, New Capital Administrative City, and the New Mansour City. So all this field of work will be add value to the Egyptians to have more training. And also I am send advice to all the Egyptian youth also, if you have enough money to spend in traveling abroad in order to take the international experience in the summer, please do it. If you worked, even you are work beside your training. So it's also accepted to the Egyptian youth. Why? Because once you travel to advanced countries in the field of industry, you will come back to Egypt by more experience, and this experience you will transfer to your student within your class in the university or even in your school. So travel abroad is add value. Travel also to Arab countries it's add value. Why? In order to know more knowledge and information about this country, and in order to be attractive or be ambassador to Egypt to attract more direct investment from this Arab country to Egypt. Why? Because Egypt after 2011 launching a lot of feasibility study to will attractive more direct foreign currency investment to invest in Egypt, especially with the key Arab country like Saudi Arabia, like United Arab Emirates. A lot of money is spent in Egypt in national project also in the field of education, national project in the field of education, field of industry, field of food industry. So this project will lead to create more jobs to the Egyptians in the future, and will send a positive message to the international agency like World Bank and Fitch and Standard & Poor's. Egypt more stable and attractive more direct foreign investment. So Egyptian youth have a key message also to distribute to the world through the social media. Please use the social media to make a good news about the Egyptian economy, about the education here in Egypt, about how we invest in Egypt, how we invest in women empowerment. So all this message will reach to the world very easy if you use your social media by very idle steps. Especially Minister of Education and said present to you tablet and a lot of IT, and the Minister of also Information and Technology support you by internet to Upper Egypt, internet to all.
We make use of the different facilities that are at hand for the youth definitely these days, and reflect positively on making their lives easier and more beneficial. We are working on widening the scope of the private sector contribution to the national economy. We are working on prioritizing this important fact, private sector contribution to the national economy over 65%, so it plays a very important role. The private sector and its role in economic growth definitely cannot be denied.
Yeah, the private sector should work together with the governmental sector to supporting the Egyptian economy and supporting the Egyptian citizen in the same time. Egypt takes the right direction, especially in the last six months. A lot of governmental projects will be sold to private sector or managed by the private sector in order to maximizing the profitability of this project. At the end, all the private sector and the government sector working together in order to support the Egyptian economy and to support the citizen, and in order to face the international challenge we face, especially after the Russian-Ukrainian war and after the COVID-19. So I am here to send a clear message. The private sector should lead the economic, especially in 2023 and 2024, until we reach 2030. It's why 2030? Because this is the vision of Egypt's Sustainable Development Goals, and this strategy aims to merging the private sector on all fields. Private sector in the field of education, in the field of healthcare, in the field of transportation, in the field of mega project, international project. So the private sector should lead the growing rate and working together with the government in order hand in hand to support the Egyptian economy to be in a good position. The private sector here in Egypt reach to international market, especially in the field of textile, in the field of fertilizer, in the field of petrochemical industry, in the field of also in the field of car industry, especially electric car, because it's matching with the policy of Egypt's Sustainable Development Goals. A lot of mega projects launched by the private sector and have international appraisal and as excellent. Why? Because in Egypt we have the qualified employee, we have the qualified engineering, we have the qualified doctors. So only we need a foreign direct investment in order to increase the cash flow of foreign currency in Egypt. Because we are still today depend mainly in some imported goods and services related to the healthcare investment sector, related to car industry sectors. So I think once we have international foreign investment, we will be able to launch more industry in many different fields because we have the raw material of industry we need, and because Egypt is the main gate to Africa also, and Africa have a reserve from petroleum sector, or from gas, from gold. So we have the chance of growing.
Yes, this is what the government has actually been doing, embarking on key economic and social reforms on a multitude of different and various fronts, with the main purpose definitely of developing the state and ensuring a high living standard for the Egyptian citizens. We're talking about a comprehensive development. We're talking about a vision of 2030. How are we working and achieving this sense of balance between the social, economic, and environmental sustainability according to the 2030 vision, in your opinion?
Yeah, Egypt takes the right direction in the future of sustainable development goals, especially after we hosting the COP27 conference in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yes.
And this is a great organizing, and all the world look to Egypt as a key country in Middle East, and key country in Arab area, and the key country in Africa. And the future will be starting from Egypt, especially if any country wants to spend money or invest money in Africa. Egypt takes the right direction in spending in sustainable development goals and sustainable projects like BIMBAN and like H2 nitrogen, also nitrogen industry also, and all this project will be saving the spend of our Egyptian government in the field of petroleum or gas, and depend on sustainable energy sector. And this lead was Egypt to make export, for example, of electricity to Saudi Arabia, to Jordan, to Libya. And in the future, we aim to make export to Europe, especially in the field of gas and electricity. In Egypt also we have a surplus in fertilizer sector, and we have a surplus in a lot of industry, and we, especially in the field of agriculture, also we have a surplus, and the Egypt agriculture export increase, even in challenge of COVID-19 or challenge of Russian-Ukrainian also, but we have a surplus in this sector. And a lot of project will be in the reclamation of land will start and take operation, especially in Sinai and in New Alamein. And this mega project will be add value to the Egyptian economy, and will be add value to the decent life to all Egyptian citizens.
Yes, we can find this extended, as I said, in the different governorates in the country, not only in the rural areas or in the capital Cairo, but also it extends to Upper Egypt. The main motto is not leaving anyone behind. And this is one of the mottos of the new republic. This has been made clear that through Egypt's sustainability, the sustainable development goals that are adopted by the government in order to provide Egyptians with a better life, it reflects definitely on the Egyptian efforts in more than one front. And among them is paying special attention to Upper Egypt. How do you see investment projects in Upper Egypt and Decent Life Initiative in order to provide a better quality of life for our brothers and sisters in Upper Egypt?
Yeah, Upper Egypt nowadays take a lot of attention from the government, especially in the field of education, the field of industry. Also, a lot of industry launched and industrial zone launched in Upper Egypt, especially in Asyut, for example. And also the field of we spend more money in raising up the infrastructure and all the roads related to and connected Upper Egypt with Cairo, and connected Upper Egypt with the new capital city. And infrastructure will be ready for easy movement of all the Egyptian citizens. Especially in Upper Egypt, also we have a tourist city like Luxor and Aswan, and this is a shiny cities attract more foreign visitors from all over the world, especially this winter. It's very cold, and also the very support the government support and subsidies presented from the national community and the non-governmental association also, and NGO like National Council for Supporting the Egyptian Citizen. This NGO do a wonderful achievement in supporting by all goods and services, all the poor citizens need in the Upper Egypt, and a lot of job created in the government of Asyut, the government of Qena, and a lot of government, because we launching and starting operation in new city, including industrial zone and investment area also.
Yes, definitely. The New Republic is always working on this sense of sustainability, sustainable development as a key objective of the different national projects and national policies, the continuous improvement of the quality of life for the citizens, as we have talked with Mr. Khattab also about preparing our youth today for the labor market and investing in the human capital. Training is very important. It's the key and the magic word. Here we're talking youth empowerment, and this has been happening through the different youth forums all over the country. It has been a great and a golden opportunity for the youth to see for themselves leadership by example in those important events. Youth empowerment and sustainability, the correlation between them, and how are we preparing the youth today and empowering them to achieve sustainability?
Yeah, youth today lucky because the government and the private sector also will support the youth to be more qualified in study, more qualified in training. Even we speak about vocational training, especially because we need to support the sector in Egypt, especially in Upper Egypt, and the government like Bahir and the Kafr Sheikh. All this the government need a qualified employee, supported and updated by more technology and more connecting to the world through the internet and through the application related to mobile, and through training also on the modern machine, and modern machine especially work by computer also. So in Egypt we do a wonderful achievement, and also the youth forum organized by the government under and by attendance of President Sisi, we key message to from the President Sisi to the youth: I'm here to support you. I'm here to listen to all your to listen to your knowledge and to communicate with you in the round table. And once the youth also send a recommendation letter after they finish the forum, the President Sisi will transfer this recommendation to the Prime Minister of the government, and the Prime Minister also will start take this decision and start supporting by finding the money need to start this plan. And I think the audience also and the speaker will participate in the forum will be add value to the Egyptian youth to be leader in the future, and the future after this forum will be motivated to work and motivated to be participating in international event like the youth forum held in Egypt. And the presidency also care to organizing youth forum in Alex, youth forum in New Capital City, youth forum in Sharm el-Sheikh. This gives the chance to all the Egyptian citizens to share by very easy way.
Yes, definitely. We're opening, Egypt is open up to the whole world in a sense of partnership and development goals with the different countries. And we're talking sustainability, we're talking development. Well, Mr. Khattab talking about Egypt's Vision 2030, and accordingly, we are definitely prioritizing tackling the developmental projects all over the country, providing job opportunities to the youth. How are we, through those important projects, being able to provide the job opportunities for the youth, and also to provide a better life for Egyptians? We're seeing, of course, the mega national projects all over the country, and this in itself is a great chance and a great arena for the youth to participate. They are the ones who are going definitely to reap the fruit of those mega national projects also in the future.
Yeah, mega national projects supports the Egyptian economy, especially in from especially 2019, in the COVID-19, and nowadays, after the Russian-Ukrainian war, national project create a lot of jobs, not only to Egyptian cities located in Cairo or Alex or Giza, but in all over the government. A national project will support the economy in order to to pushing more governmental investment
more.
And more. And the national project will be add value to the Egyptian economy and send a positive message to all foreign investment to come and invest in Egypt, because every day we see a lot of achievement done in New Capital City, a lot of
and increasing productivity.
Yes, and especially some national project will also have the profitability to the government, especially in the field of electricity. For example, national project in the field of gas. Egypt today make export of liquid gas.
Yeah.
This is national project.
This is a great
and
achievement.
a lot of new recovery will take place now in the coming 3 or 6 months, for example. And once we be a hub for energy sector, this is send a positive message to the World Bank to invest with us in Egypt. This is send a positive message to the International Monetary Fund, to the Euro Bank, to all international associations to spend more money in the Egyptian market, because it's stable 100%, and because it's rich by manpower and rich by raw material. So all this lead to more growing rate, especially after the growing rate of the world decreased to 2.7%. But Egypt still have a positive growing rate.
Yeah.
So all this leads to a wonderful and decent life to all Egyptian citizens.
Yes, definitely, and a bright future, of course, of Egypt's sustainable and economic development, guided by the principle of realizing Egypt's Vision 2030 and the 2030 Agenda. We've prioritized tackling the developmental projects all over the country, not only in Cairo but or the rural areas, but all over the different Egyptian governorates, providing citizens with job opportunities, quality education, as we've talked, vocational training in order to prepare them for the sense of competitiveness in the not only in the local market but the international market too. I thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed Khattab, development and consultancy expert, by being with us tonight and tackling with us all those success stories regarding Egypt's investment in the human capital and how to achieve sustainable development goals. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you. And I thank you, dear viewers, for joining us. That was Wednesday Debate, live with Taghreed Hussein here on Nile TV International. The Daily Debate came to you live from Nile TV International studios, and this beautiful brand to start the new year by Ashraf Al-Sa'a, Director Ashraf Al-Sa'a. Director of our episode tonight is Akram Bishara on our behalf. We thank you so much. Tomorrow, another team. Until then.